All right. Hello. Let's switch the mic. Boom. Good mic. Let's zoom in a little bit. Good morning and welcome to another Market Open. Here we go. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. It is December 22nd, 2022. Shout out to 48 people already being here. Arvin, morning Amit, hold me to this. I'm going to start my position at Palantir when it's $6. All right. Let's see if that happens. Shintoki hiding in the closet. Philip, Amit cries in his closet for stream nowadays. The market spooked Amit into the closet. You guys are funny. Ramu, hello. Suri, Philip, mildly annoyed. Daily Cowbell, no Daily Cowbell stream this morning. We recorded it. It will be out by 11 a.m. So you are going to get a nice edited version of the show, the way it should be. So you'll see us very soon. Thank you all for being here. Upgrade, Kane, Amit, what's up? Amit is ready to wear the strangest piece of clothing ever again. I wake up for Amit streams. Arshad, I love you. Amit announces deal with Palantir immediately. Yo, you guys are hilarious. Shout out to the 98 people here. Done in 1 minute and 9 seconds. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Happy to have you here today. Glad to see someone still doing a market open. Steady 10. I've been doing a market open for what seems like 3 months now consistently. I think since October consistently we've been doing this. No, since September we've been doing market open. I think the only times I missed were like I don't know. I got to see how many market opens I've missed in the past 4 months. I would say maybe 10 out of like 90 of them. I don't know. We'll check. But I've been here in July and in August. I wasn't too consistent because I was raising money for my startup and it was really hard, just like getting it all done. But I think by September I kind of normalized, and now we're here. Now I look forward to these. Now it's fun. Now it's exciting. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. We have two main big pieces of news today. Palantir got upgraded to $14 from Bank of America. This comes yesterday after Palantir getting downgraded to $4.5 by another analyst. So obviously analyst upgrades don't mean much, but it's interesting to hear the analysis behind the analyst's projections. And that gives us a better understanding of why they are the way they are. And so I'll pull that up in a second. But the second big piece of news today is that Caroline Ellison, the CEO of Alameda Research, which was FTX's sister trading arm company, has basically thrown SBF under the bus. Basically said, look, he told me to take customer funds and put them into Alameda. She's willingly working with prosecutors along with Gary Wang, the co-founder of FTX. They're basically conspiring together to work with prosecutors to say that SBF is responsible. Now, they're probably still going to go to jail, but their jail sentence is probably going to be reduced significantly because they have hard evidence through these witness testimonies that SBF told them to do it, which basically says everything SBF was saying over the past couple of weeks on 17,000 podcasts that he was on about, I didn't know this was going on. It's like, bro, your right-hand girl, which was also your girlfriend, by the way, apparently, was just ratted you out and said that you were responsible for everything, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Is Amit must be straight because he's never coming out of the closet. You guys are loving these closets. Bro, I should do a closet every morning. You guys love this stuff. This is like, I just found you. Okay, Steady 10. Thank you for being here. And how did you find me, by the way? Was it a search? Did I pop up in your feed? I'm always curious to see how people found me. Morning open is my daily routine. I get annoyed when I sit with my coffee and there is F all to watch as I get ready for work in the morning. Okay, there we go. Glitch life. I'm happy I am in your morning subconscious. So when you're buying a plane, Amit, well, let's see if we can take this startup to the moon. And even if I do, bro, I'm not buying a fucking plane. Like, bro, that's the dumbest shit. Like, I respect Meet Kevin a lot, but buying a plane is look, I mean, from what I've heard, Meet Kevin is down $10 million on Tesla stock. And he hasn't confirmed nor denied this. So I'm sure he has money to maneuver through accounting loopholes buying a plane, which is fine. But I don't know, man. When you're down that much money, I don't know if the plane is the best option. Now, granted, it might be a tax write-off. Look, it might be a strong financial move. I also just feel like I feel like I would feel like a dick getting in a private plane every morning, not only for the environment, but also because I'm like, that's not who I am. I'm not the guy that goes in a private jet. That's never who I want to become. I will never buy a Rolex. I'm honest. I will never buy a Rolex. I don't care how much money I ever make. If I get to that point, I'm not buying a Rolex. Like I just don't like those things. I barely buy clothes. I hate that type of stuff. And I don't think money will corrupt me if I ever get to that point, but I don't want to be the person that becomes consumeristic, materialistic private jets. I will not even fly first class. I will fly 32F just to remind myself where I come from. Because to me, I love the journey of trying to build something, not the material benefits that come from that. Hopefully that doesn't change if I ever get rich. But okay, so let's get into some of this stuff. This is crazy. So this is from the court documents. Here's a great account that highlighted some of this stuff, and we'll get back to it even more after the market open. In essence, Bankman-Fried and Wang placed billions of dollars of FTX customer funds into Alameda. Bankman-Fried then used Alameda as his personal piggy bank to buy luxury condominiums, support political campaigns, and make private investments, among other uses. Bankman-Fried and Wang improperly diverted customer assets to Alameda Research. Wang created and participated in the creation of the software code that allowed Alameda to divert FTX funds. Gary Wang is the co-founder of FTX. So when Sam is like, oh, I can't even code, so there's no way I could have made this like software that creates a backdoor that escapes the auditors from seeing that money is going from FTX to Alameda, he was telling the truth, but he was also kind of being deceiving, because he didn't create the software, but he instructed his right-hand guy to make the software. And as a result of that, he was able to get things done. Ellison, in turn, used the misappropriated FTX customer funds for Alameda's trading strategy. Bankman-Fried used those customer funds to make undisclosed venture investments, lavish real estate purchases, and large political donations. That's the insane part. Like, the dude basically said, I'm going to take other people's money and buy my own shit, make venture investments that are very, like when you invest in startups, a lot of them fail. And then I'm going to make political donations to it. Like, this is insane, bro. The fact that this has been leaked and the fact that this is telling is quite interesting. Now, the question becomes, what's the defense going to say? Because when you have your right-hand man and woman basically admitting this, I mean, I don't know what the defense's argument is against this. Ellison, at Bankman-Fried's direction, caused Alameda to borrow billions of dollars from third-party lenders. Ellison, acting at the direction of Bankman-Fried, engaged in automated purchases of FTT tokens on various platforms in order to increase the price of those tokens and inflate the value of Alameda's collateral, which allowed Alameda to borrow even more money from external lenders that increased risk to the lenders and FTX investors and customers, all in furtherance of the scheme. So this is where the FTT token comes into place. For those that don't know what a crypto token is, it's basically this random thing that companies that are in the crypto space come up with. And as a result of it, they can use that to peg against the dollar, which gives them this like stable coin. That means that when you put your money into their exchange, they're able to say it's backed up by our token, and our token is backed up by the US dollar. So if we're backed up by the US dollar, which is backed up by the US military, there's no way our token can go to shit. The problem is the token is not backed up by the dollar because the token is built out of nothing. It's made out of thin air. And literally, when you can automate the purchase of an FTT token on a bunch of different platforms. So basically, I can go on Binance and buy $700 billion of FTT token. Guess what? That's going to increase the price. Just like if you bought $700 billion worth of Tesla stock right now, right? Like that would increase the price because Tesla's market cap is not even that high. So when you buy a token artificially or on an automated exchange and you keep doing these purchases, the price of the token will go up, which will make customers feel that the token has value. It'll make customer feels that their money in the exchange and the exchange's token as a result is giving their money the adjusted amount it deserves, which is the 8.5% APY that FTX was promising, which keeps the fraud intact. The problem is the token is worthless, and the problem is the money that's keeping the token to be worthless, quote unquote, is the customer funds in the first place. It's like you're taking money from one person to buy your own thing. It's literally a pyramid scheme, circular dynamic of pumping up a price. It is unbelievable that this happened between plain sight, that regulators did not catch this. And one of the reasons for that was because they built this backdoor window that allowed them to co-conspire this. And SBF's girlfriend admitted it. So it is going to be interesting now to see what the defense is, because I couldn't imagine what the defense is against this when your main coworkers are saying that this is happening. Emmanuel, what's up, man? Samrat, what's up? Ahad, what's up? Blake, what's up? It's just house flips. He's not saving the world. Take a Zoom meeting, Kevin. LOL, feed his ego. So jail or no jail for Sam? We will see. We will see. But I think it's not looking the best right now. All right, 9:30 a.m., December 22nd, 2022. It's 12/22/22, and it's also my mom's birthday. Shout out to my mom. It is her birthday today, turning 53 years old. I love this woman with all my heart. Happy that she is alive and healthy today, and she's 53. So, having said that, the stock market is now open. Wake your ass up. The stock market is now open, and we are in a sea of red. Palantir down 2%, 637. Uber 2506. SoFi 455 down 1.94%. SPY 383, recovering a little bit from yesterday, but still down 0.87%. Activision Blizzard 75. AMD 66. Let's go to Tesla. New Gordon Johnson video came out on Tesla today that we'll probably watch and analyze. Tesla 135 down 0.49%. I saw a lot of Ross Gerber clips yesterday, him going on Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, a lot of mainstream media outlets basically saying that if Tesla gets a new CEO, or sorry, Twitter, Tesla will be fine. But until that happens, there's going to be a massive overhang on the stock, and investors are just not going to buy it, even though it's trading at its lowest PEG ratio, its lowest PE in history. When it was a $1 trillion company, the PE was like 230. Now the PE is more at 37, which is a lot better. S&P at 382, Ford 1147, Coinbase 35, Toyota 138. ARK bought some more Coinbase, Roku, Zoom, and Tesla yesterday. Not big purchases, but she bought some of those stocks. She also issued a new letter today to her investors, basically saying, look, we are going to sacrifice profitability for growth. And one of the things we talked about on the Daily Cowbell today was a hedge fund manager, Dan Loeb, basically saying you're full of crap. And it was very interesting to see them go back and forth. Dan Loeb is more of a value investor. Kathy Wood, obviously not. So Kathy's sticking on to her thesis. The question is if some of these stocks are actually going to be innovative. ARK 31.94. We are $1.94 away from seeing ARK below $30, which would obviously be a new all-time low. Meta at 118, Adobe 337, Roblox 27. Again, Roblox I'm not excited about. Trades like 200 times price to free cash flow. It's not that interesting for me, even if you're interested in the metaverse. So it's not one of those stocks that I would get super excited about. Also, it's just like, if the metaverse is not a thing, then it's going to be a niche product for a bunch of kids. But like, if advertisers don't go from phones to the metaverse, then it's not going to be that big of a deal. NASDAQ at 10,561 as well. Let's read some of the comments. Happy birthday, Mama Amit. Appreciate you, Ramna. Thank you for saying this. It means a lot. Did you get a chance to check out that dude Glitch Life? So I saw a little bit of his channel, but I did not get to see a bunch of his videos. But from what I saw, a lot of the videos look good. So I'm gonna reach out to him for sure. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. It's awesome. I'm gonna tell my mom you guys wished her happy birthday. She'll appreciate it. My grandma passed 2 days ago, so it kind of sucks because obviously she passed. But my mom is a really nice personality. My mom's like, my mom's kind of funny. My mom's like, well, I'm alive, so we got to celebrate. And I 100% agree with that philosophy. It's like, someone passing is sad, but you got to celebrate the people that are alive because one day they're going to pass as well, just like all of us are. So, in the midst of all the sadness that occurs, we have to find some ways to celebrate the reasons for being alive because we are alive right now. We typically do not break the put call wall. I wonder if this red rally is real. Get your mom Palantir shares. Yeah, that's the perfect thing I should do. What's the minimum you would accept from Gary Vee if he offered to buy Audia? I don't think Gary Vee would offer to buy Audia, but look, I don't want to sound hyperbolic. I think Audia can be worth a lot of money one day because I think there's my thesis and conviction on it grows every single day. By the way, we're up about 38% month over month on listens per Audia. So last month we were doing 338 listens a month. Right now we're averaging about 440. And a listen is someone plays the audio for at least 60 seconds straight, which counts as a listen, which is one of the most ruthless thresholds I've seen in social media for something to count as a metric. Because on TikTok, it's like 2 seconds. On YouTube, it's like 30 seconds, which is probably the best metric in terms of time comparison. On Instagram, it's like 2 seconds. So like, these platforms will give you the metrics, which feeds you the dopamine so quickly, right? Because they just want to keep you making you feel like you have attention. For us, it takes 60 seconds, which is a lot of time if you think about it, for someone to actually count as a listen. So we're up 38% of that month over month. I think we can 10x that in 2023. We just got to keep going. And if we do that, I think the company will become very valuable. I think someone like Gary Vee will want to invest in the company. We'll see. I got in touch with one of his executives last week. And so we'll see if we can get this meeting set up in January. I think the platform's made for someone like him. Like it fits every criteria he's asked for, and none of the audio platforms are doing it. By the way, I subscribed to my first newsletter. Oh man, my mind's going in so many directions, but I subscribed to the newsletter yesterday. I pay $12 a month for the first time ever. I'll see if I keep the subscription, but it's a business newsletter that talks a lot about tech. I'll let you guys know about it in a second. And they were criticizing the hell out of Spotify's exclusive podcast strategy. Let's go to Spotify right now. They basically said the strategy makes no sense. Like, you can't keep spending this much money for exclusive podcasters in a recession and expect customers to come and like use your platform unless you have more exclusives, which means you have to spend more money for the cost of content. And if the advertising margins don't keep up, then you can't justify spending it. I really don't think this exclusive model makes any sense. Gary Vee also hates the Netflix of audio type of model. So if you could build a pseudo YouTube of audio where everyone in the world could post content and then monetize it on the back end, that I think has a much better opportunity, which is the pitch for audio in a nutshell. Okay, let's go to Gordon Johnson. He has a new Tesla video. Let's listen to what he is saying. What is the threshold for a view on YouTube? I think it's about 30 seconds, if I'm not wrong. TikTok is more 3 seconds. YouTube is about 30 seconds. Happy birthday, Auntie. I appreciate you. Amit, as someone who's been working really hard to try to DCA down as much as I can, how can I continue when there's no end in sight? I'm losing a month's worth of investing every day. Just don't DCA. I mean, like that Simon, you don't have to take it that seriously. Like if you've built out a position, just chill with it. You don't need to keep DCAing. I mean, I think investors sometimes forget about this. I've practiced this over the past couple of months. I haven't DCA'd heavily because you know what? I DCA'd at Palantir heavily at $12. That's when I personally thought, oh my goodness, it's incredibly undervalued, which I still think it was, especially because, you know, the fair price we got is $14 today, but it went lower because the macro sucked. And like, then I stopped DCAing as much as I was back in February because I just don't have the personal funds to just keep throwing in money. So if you don't have the personal money, don't kill yourself about it. Look, if you believe in the long-term vision, then, you know, Palantir at a $10 average, $15 average, even a $20 average, it doesn't matter in the next 7 to 8 years. But, you know, if you want to keep going lower, you can keep going lower. Just know that stocks can keep going lower. But I wouldn't stress too much about it because, you know, you got to build out your position and take your time with it. Also, I think there's going to be more buying opportunities for Palantir in 2023. So I wouldn't go crazy in the last days of 2022 to make all the purchases. 2023 does not look like it's going to be good. And if that's the case, then there's going to be more opportunities. AMC all-time lows. That's also insane. Okay, so let's listen to Gordon Johnson real quick, and then we'll get into AMC. This is absolutely insane. I don't know why AMC crashed to all-time lows today, but for all the bulls on AMC that said it was going to go to the moon, it's just, you know, it was a one-time thing against Citadel. It didn't seem like it was a sustained rally. It didn't seem like there was any bull case around AMC, and it seems like the stock market is reflecting that today. But we'll talk about it. All right, here's Gordon Johnson talking a little bit more about Tesla.
Some would argue that a lot of the negativity has already been priced into a stock that's lost 2/3 of its value since the highs that we saw. Are they right?
Hey, thanks for having me. Great to be on the show. I think that viewpoint is dead wrong, and let me explain. So Tesla is currently valued at more than the next 3 largest automakers combined, despite selling just 5% of the cars that those automakers sold in 2021. So what's that mean? That means Tesla should be seeing tremendous growth in its quarter-over-quarter shipments and year-over-year shipments. So what are we seeing? Here's the problem. Tesla has now engaged in 2 margin-slashing price cuts in the US in Q4, 5 margin-slashing price cuts in China in Q4, 1 margin-slashing price cut in Europe in Q4. Despite that fact, based on their guidance for the 3rd quarter in a row, they're going to produce more cars than they sold. That's a record. They're producing more than they sold, which means they're not selling everything that they're making. Despite all of that, their lead times have collapsed, and they have 2 plants running at 20% capacity, Berlin, Texas, and 1 running at 93% capacity. This is a company, it's just a car company. 95% of revenues from selling cars, 5% from an energy division that loses money. They're just a car company that's built too much capacity that they can't sell, and that is a big problem.
Now, Gordon, the valuations, of course, are obviously an issue, and they have been for a while for many Tesla bears out there. Now, earlier last year, this was a stock that was valued at almost 230 times forward or anticipated earnings. It has come all the way down to about 24 to 25 times forward earnings, which, by the way, doesn't make it that much more expensive than some parts of the S&P 500. But if you look at companies and legacy automakers, to your point, like Ford and GM, which are trading at, call it 5 to 7 times forward earnings,
there you go.
it looks a lot. But some would say that Tesla's growth story is worth it. Why are they not right?
It's not growing. And one more thing on valuation, right? Typically in a luxury market, once you reach roughly 15% of that market, your growth stops. Look at BMW. They sell about 2.5 million cars a year. Look at Mercedes. They sell about 2.3. BMW valued at 58 billion, Mercedes valued at 70 billion. Both of those companies have great margins, better margins than Tesla. So if you apply those valuations to Tesla, you're talking about an $18 to $22 stock versus $140 today, roughly. So that's the problem. And with respect to growth, again, Dominic, you know this. If your backlog is collapsing, their backlog in China a couple months ago was several months. Now you can get a car immediately. Same thing in the US, their backlog is nearly gone. Their backlog in Europe will be gone by the end of the year. That means their orders are less than their deliveries. So if they report 400,000 of deliveries this quarter, which we think they will roughly, that means their orders are less than that, which means they are not growing. You're talking about a company that's run rating about 1.6 million cars, and yet they have 2 facilities, Texas and Berlin, that are just operating at 20% capacity. So they can't sell out their existing capacity, and they're at 1.6 million of car sales. That is a big red flag, a big headwind for an automaker. So people who say they're growing, they're wrong. And on technology, there's a ton of other competitors out there, cars with equal or better real world range, better interior, faster charging, and a network and a service that is actually there versus Tesla. So not only do you have all these headwinds, you have the competition. Last thing, Elon Musk, espousing all these far right-wing conspiracies on Twitter. He's alienating his key constituency of buyers. You're talking about liberals who think EVs are going to save the world. So there's just so many headwinds.
What do we think? Does he have a point? Does he have any point? I want to see from the chat what you guys think. Why is it blurry? Let me do that there. What do you think? 313 people. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. Does he have any point? Does he have any argument about demand? Now, the one thing about demand is Tesla apparently is cutting some of their prices. And I saw this from some other reputable accounts, not just like Gordon Johnson saying this, which signals that there might be a little bit of slowdown in demand. But we've heard this idea about demand slowdown like since 2019. Like every time there's an article that comes out that says, I remember I was buying Tesla at 170. I didn't hold on to it, but I bought it at 170 pre-split. And the article that came out that day that made it go from 190 to 170 was that Tesla should go to $10 because demand is destroyed. There is no demand. And I remember I was like, I wasn't I was very new to the market, but I was like, this is kind of stupid. And I just bought a couple of shares and I sold it for like 100% gain. But obviously I could have got like a 20x gain, but we don't need to revisit that now. Nonetheless, does he have a point? Does he have a point at all? Why is it being blurry? It's being so weird. Okay. Shouldn't be this blurry. Okay. Yeah, in 2019, how many EV cars were out? Honestly, I don't even know, but it's obviously growing a lot more and it's going to keep growing even more and more. He has no idea what he's talking about. Also, my comment on Daily Count from yesterday. Glitch Life, I saw your comment. It was a long comment. I didn't get a chance to read it yet fully, but I will read it and respond to it. I'm trying to respond to all the comments, but I saw you left a long one, so I'm going to make sure we get into that. Why wouldn't the backlog shrink if production almost doubles? Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, right? If production is going up for a lot of these cars, then there is a reason for why backlog would shrink but I think that's Gordon's point, and it's not the best point, but his argument is like before, to wait for a Tesla took 6 months. Now it takes like 2 weeks. So that means the backlog is decreasing, which means now the bull case is like, well, production is up. The bear case is like, well, that means not that many people want the car, which is why you don't have to wait 6 months anymore. You only have to wait 2 weeks. And so both of those are very nuanced arguments that have to be put against each other. And that's the fun of investing, right? There's a bull argument, there's a bear argument, there's a debate that ultimately has to be had. And that plays out and someone wins and someone loses. So that's that, you can interpret that whatever way you want and how that goes. All right, let's talk about Palantir real quick because that's the title of this. I can't share the Seeking Alpha thing because it's being kind of stupid, but I have it right now. So I'm going to read a little bit from here. Okay. Analyst Mariana Perez. Also, she analyzed this, I think like in July. So I remember that name. Okay, so I'm reading from Seeking Alpha, who has a buy rating and $14 price target on Palantir, noted that shares have declined 8.5% so far this week as investors are increasingly concerned about software infrastructure spending heading into a potential recession. So that's kind of the core reason they think Palantir is down. In our view, Palantir's SPAC investment strategy seems to be poorly timed and has not achieved its investment objectives thus far. Adding that the company has already recognized $334 million in related losses and may see another $14 million hit in the fourth quarter given the current stock market environment. However, Perez Moore added that this strategy is indicative of Palantir's aggressive approach to sales and is likely to see another strong year for revenue growth. Remember, they're going to do about $1.9 billion this year. They did about 1.5 last year. She says, we expect Palantir to repeat another year of strong sales as continued supply chain disruption and increasingly expected recession calls for further operations optimization and data management. However, as corporate software budgets struggle, we expect Palantir to pursue that growth with lower pricing and margins, especially considering its current $2.4 billion in net cash. Now, Perez noted that at a share price of $6, investors get Palantir's commercial business for free, and its government exposure is worth $7 per share by itself. Now, that's very interesting. Why is this interesting to me? Because I've spoken to people like CodeStrap, which, by the way, he's on Twitter now. I think it's like CodeStrap411 if you guys are on Twitter, and he's tweeting some really awesome stuff about Palantir. And he has argued many times to me in private discussions and in also public discussions that the government business for Palantir is worth a lot of money and that he thinks the government business, he said this publicly on our Palantir Weekly podcast, is $100 billion in and of itself. Now, why is he saying that? The world is becoming more deglobalized. The world is becoming less safe. The world is becoming more risky. That doesn't mean you want a war to happen. That means in the inevitable likelihood that some chaotic thing happens, like Russia, Ukraine, that everyone didn't think was going to happen, but did happen. you need to have software to support and give you the infrastructure to protect against that. The video I made this week about the Washington Post, which covered Palantir's effort in Ukraine pretty fairly, talked about CARP and how, you know, smaller companies have algorithmic nuclear capabilities to go against bigger countries just via their software. So if at $6, the market cap of Palantir is, I think, $13 billion. When this analyst says that the government exposure is worth $7 per share by itself, that means they're putting on an additional $14 billion to the government business in and of itself, which means commercials free at $6, government's $14 billion at $7. You put them together, you have close to a, what is it, 7 plus 6, a $30 billion market cap company. That's what the analyst is projecting is the baseline for Palantir. Now, will we get that in this market, which means Palantir goes from 7 to 14, 100% upside from here, or more than 100% upside from here? I don't think so, because the macro sucks. But nonetheless, that's like the analysis you want to keep in mind during a bear market, because when the bear market goes away, that should be where you get to. It's just a question of when that's going to happen, and if that ultimately happens. So that was the Palantir stuff for everyone who wants to be here. Shout out to 341 people being here. Thank you so much. And looking at the comments in the chat, short-term Tesla pain coming, long-term 10-bagger, quote me in 10 years. Well, I think that's the argument for most investors, right? Like that's the argument for most investors for Tesla. 7.5K credit will fix the demand. Yeah, and that goes to David's point as well, which is that EV demand and government subsidies is only going to accelerate the next 10 years. I think the most compelling argument I've seen from some of the bears about Tesla, and again, I own Tesla stock. It's not a big position, but I do own shares. I am bullish. If it gets to 120, I want to buy more. Is this argument that other EVs are catching up? And it's not the same as like there's competition. It's more so the context of like, if Honda can make a $25,000 EV, what is the average consumer really going to care about? Because personally, I don't give a shit about a Tesla. I care about my money, right? And like, a Tesla's cool, but I don't have $70,000, right? And I don't care about full self-driving. Like these are things I don't care about. And so I care about, you know, for $25,000, can I help save the environment and get a car that I don't have to spend gas on? And if Honda delivers that to me, I'll buy the freaking Honda, right? It's not that complicated. And so I think if that ends up playing out over the next couple of years, it's going to be hard to give Tesla the premium they're asking for, because they don't have the monopoly they had on EVs. And mind you, it's already a $500 billion company. It's already up, 10,000x from IPO price. So it has appreciated. It's just a question of, can it go from this? It's in the same position as Apple, from 500 billion to 2.5 trillion or to 3 trillion, which is what Apple's trajectory has been over the past 6 years. And the reason Apple was able to do that is because Warren Buffett and Carl Icahn told them, buy back your shares. It was like, bro, if you buy back your shares, we will reward you. Like, do something that's investor friendly and we got you. And just keep releasing good products. And that's what Apple did. Everyone wants to shit on Tim Cook for not being innovative. Tim Cook took it from 500 billion to 2.5 trillion at the end of the day. Tesla, they got some cash, 10 billion in buybacks, especially with everything that Elon's doing, selling shares. It wouldn't be the worst thing, I think, for Tesla shareholders in terms of just their vote of confidence as well. Bullish, but agree with what some of Gordon has to say. Yes, Blake, you can be bullish and still agree with what someone has to say. And this is the thing, guys, I hate sometimes about the Tesla community. It's like, Blake, I love you, but you can agree with some of the stuff someone has to say and still be bullish. You can agree that, hey, in China, BYD is kicking Tesla's butt, which is what Gordon has been saying, but disagree on Gordon's long-term thesis that Tesla's a $23 stock. We got to have a little bit more nuance, bro. We cannot be so tied to one thing. Like, yes, I can agree with certain parts of an argument and I can disagree with the overall thesis. That is okay to do. But Gordon, yes, because I don't care who Gordon is. I care about his argument. Like, yes, people call him a clown. I get it. But part of his argument might make some sense. Do I think that Tesla goes to $23, which is what he's projecting? No, I think that's kind of silly. I think that's stupid. But is the China demand problem there? Possibly. BYD sold 50,000 cars. Tesla sold 10,000. So it's like you can mix and take different arguments and put them together, right? It doesn't have to be that binary. Especially in this market, it's not mass market enough to be 70K. Yeah, I agree. It's very hard to justify it as $70,000. I want a car that I can have for 10 years and drive it until it becomes a part of my damned earth again. My rule is to buy it nice or buy it twice. Yeah, I'm not gonna, not buy a new car anytime soon because my Honda Civic is doing well. So I'm going to keep buying it. All right, let's take a look at a video. Here we go. We've got some new stuff here. I wanted to see if we have some Sam Bankman-Fried stuff. Let me pull up this. Okay, Sam Bankman-Fried, Bloomberg. Again, if you didn't know, Carolyn Ellison is basically telling him that or cooperating with regulators and saying that, yeah, he told me to do XYZ. And as a result of him telling me to do XYZ, we're going to do that. So before I get that video, let me pull up Ross Gerber talking a little bit about Tesla and Twitter, and I'll Caroline Elson, and then we'll go from there. All right, let me share this right now.
Watching this play out on Twitter, but I'm really curious if you've had any conversations with Elon Musk offline to discuss what's going on here with his leadership of both Twitter and Tesla.
You know, it's funny. I was sitting by my phone reading Securities Analyst 101 last night, and I didn't get a call. So I think he actually prefers to tussle on Twitter more than by email or by phone, but I'm certainly here to help. And I think that that's really my point. I represent my shareholders at my firm, and it's my fiduciary obligation to do what's best for my clients. And that is to see that Tesla, our largest investment, recovers its value and has the leadership it deserves to reach the success and the incredible challenges they have over the next year to reach the success that we expect from them in 2023. It's just a huge year for Tesla.
All right, Ross, so if you aren't having direct conversation other than via social media with Elon Musk, are you speaking with other investors? And if you are, do they share your grievances?
Well, yes, and that's really where I came from, is that we represent a ton of Tesla investors at my firm. GK, my fund, also has many investors. It is our top holding. And then there are many, many investors who I'm connected with through Twitter or through the Tesla community. And the Tesla community is one of the best communities of people ever when it comes to investing. And what Elon and Tesla has built in the community around Tesla is one of the most important things. But seeing the pain and the suffering so many in the community have had because of the rapid decline in the stock price since the Twitter acquisition, it's something that I don't think Elon understands and sees. A lot of the people who invest in Tesla are all in with 100% of their assets, and they come to us and we beg them to diversify and we beg them to, be more prudent with their finances, but they believe so much in Tesla and Elon's vision that they bet their life savings on that. And it's something that I don't think he fully understands. And so in seeing so much pain from so many people who love Tesla, including,
by the way, Tesla 52-week low 135.80, just got in 52-week low.
Me and just a ridiculous negativity around Elon that doesn't need to exist. I just decided it was in the best interest for everybody that I say something.
Ross, there's Tesla and then there's Twitter as well, which you also have exposure to as a private entity. Can you talk to us about what you think needs to change at Twitter and how you feel about the financial situation that the company is currently under?
Well, and this is another thing. I'm very happy with the direction that Elon's taking Twitter as far as transparency, improving the technology. But I also am very aware of what it's like running a media company and the incredible challenges of Twitter. I had many friends working at Twitter, and I know many of the things that were going on inside Twitter that has now been discovered by Elon has been going on for a long time. And so it's a big task and a lot to fix, but I think they're going to ultimately do a good job. What I really think is that Elon isn't suited to be the front-facing CEO of Twitter, and that's that.
Well, and he says he will step down as CEO as soon as he finds someone for the position. Who do you want in that seat, Ross?
Well, it's not really who I want. There's different approaches. I've talked to a couple of people like John Legere from T-Mobile, and I think there's some people in the entertainment industry like Kevin Mayer that.
Okay, so Ross Gerber is obviously calling for a new CEO of Twitter. John Ledger, I think his name is Ledger, or Legender or something, Ledger or something like that, who's the ex-CEO of T-Mobile, is not the worst choice because he understands advertising and media. I don't know how good is he going to be on the free speech argument, but he does understand advertising and media, which is what Twitter needs. All right, Tesla, there we go, 133.40. Down 3%. Wow, you did not think you would get it there. Look, if it hits if it gets a little bit lower to 129s, I'm getting more interested. I want to buy. Again, the reason I'm not goo gaga over this is because this market's a bit insane, and I don't have the most money in the world to DCA with, so I want to have some nice DCAs. And so let's see how bad it goes. I also am not confident unless there's a new CEO for Twitter. I mean, Ross and Gary Black put it pretty explicitly that their institutions they cannot justify buying Tesla stock with other people's money, because they manage other people's money, if they think Elon is distracted by Twitter, which is totally reasonable. There is no one on the planet that can say that's not reasonable. If I manage your money and I take your money and dump it into something that the guy has sold $40 billion worth of, we're talking about Elon with Tesla, that doesn't mean you're not bullish on Tesla. It just means that at this moment, you cannot justify that, because what if he sells more? What if Twitter goes bankrupt and he has to cover margin? Like there's so much in this that it's hard to just justify it as a bet. Now, if you're long-term on Tesla, it doesn't matter, right? If you think it's a $10 trillion company, that's fine. But if you want to, be a little bit more conservative, it's hard to just buy it, given what's going on with Elon. And I think everyone has to admit that. I mean, I think you can't not admit that. Sheryl Sandberg will not run Twitter because Sheryl Sandberg is a great executive, but Twitter, first of all, I do not think she agrees with Musk's politics. And as a result of that, when Musk tweets or says something, it's going to put her in an awkward position. She's the CEO of Twitter. She's very cookie cutter. She's not as, she's not as egregious with some of her commentary as Musk. I think Musk needs someone who can adapt with him from a free speech political perspective. You can't have a cookie cutter. You can't have like a Frank Slootman run this, right? You need someone who's like out there. And I don't know how many CEOs are like out there. Also, the Twitter ad product sucks. So Sheryl Sandberg she's used to working with Google ads, which is what she worked on before she came to Facebook. Then she worked on Facebook, made a phenomenal ad team. She's used to working with products that have advanced targeting and really good data. Twitter doesn't have that. And so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for her to justify coming to Twitter at this point. Lex Friedman. Lex is a podcaster, man. I mean, like, look, I maybe, but being a CEO of a company and managing free speech is a little bit harder. I wouldn't be opposed to Lex. First of all, the podcast is over, which would suck. He cannot do the podcast and both at the same time, so that would be hard. Question: has anything fundamentally changed in 2 years? If it's improved, if anything? Yes. Elon Musk paid $44 billion for Twitter. That's what changed in 2 years. Pretty simple to me. It's not that hard. So who else? I don't know, man. That's the problem. I don't know. All right, let's look at some FTX videos. Let's look at what Sam Bankman-Fried and then his girlfriend and what's her name, Carolyn Ellison, have going on, and then we'll end it out. Here we go.
We understand the SEC has now filed charges here.
Right, David. And so the notable thing here is that Caroline Ellison, who is the co-CEO or the CEO of Alameda Research, and Gary Wang, who is the co-founder of FTX, have been cooperating, or they are cooperating in the case against Sam Bankman-Fried. So this is pretty interesting. The Securities and Exchange Commission is doing it. And there are also, they apparently have, there are federal charges as well. So that's pretty interesting. That's a new development. And of course, this is happening just as Sam Bankman-Fried is on a plane coming back to the United States to face his own set of federal charges.
And okay, what's the latest then? Where is he right now? He's on a plane. What time is he scheduled to land?
Yeah. I don't know that we have an exact time. It's unclear which airport he will be going to, but he's probably going to the New York area. So he took off in a small white plane from the Bahamas. He is in U.S. custody, and he will probably land in the next couple of hours then, just coming from the Bahamas. And he's likely to be arraigned tomorrow morning, and then we'll see exactly where the case develops from there.
Just very quickly, actually, Jada, we got the CFTC adding Caroline Ellison and Mr. Wang to this complaint against Bankman-Fried. That's just coming through. We have that as well. But let's also get to the details we've received about his time in the Fox Hills prison in the Bahamas, which is notorious, but he seemingly had a better time of it than the rest of the inmates.
Yeah, Rich. So he was apparently in the medical wing with a few other people. So it was a little bit more private. They had access to a semi-private toilet. He apparently was getting vegan food. So he had it a little bit better just in terms of his living conditions generally. He had a guard assigned to him much of the time, given his notoriety. So he may have not been, subject to so much of the rat infestations and things that have been reported about that place. But he definitely had a little bit better of a time being in that semi.
Okay. So that's what's going on with Sam Bankman-Fried. We'll see if he ends up going to jail or what happens with this court case. But his Carolyn Ellison, the head of his sister funds, Alameda Research, is turning on him, along with co-founder of FTX, Gary Wang. Now, the Palantir meeting, you guys are talking about this. Remember, if someone has a link to the Palantir meeting, you can get it to me and I'll stream it for a little bit, but it's not that important. The Palantir meeting is, they already announced what they're doing. They're just doing some restructuring of management stuff. They're not like going private or anything like that. So it's not a big deal. I know it says emergency shareholder meeting. It's relatively not stuff that we should care about. If someone has the link, you can send it to me in the chat and I'll take a look at it. But I don't even think it's worth streaming. It's not like anything special. They're not talking about the company or they're like, it's not earnings. It's nothing. That's what I've seen over the past couple of weeks as I was looking into what this meeting is about. And apparently it's not that important. Now, having said that, last piece of news for today, YouTube just acquired the NFL's Sunday streaming rights for $2 billion per year. $2 billion. That's crazy. So YouTube ad revenue is about $30 billion per year. So they're spending $2 billion on the NFL on Sunday Night Football. So that means Sunday Night Football will be streamed on YouTube TV, not Amazon Prime and no one else. $2 billion. That's 6.6% of YouTube ad revenue. That's not crazy. So I don't know. I'm a big nerd. Definitely going to. I don't have the link. Does anyone have the link to this thing? I don't have the link to this thing. If you do, DM me on Twitter. I tried to look at it. I don't even see where the link is. Hold on. Let me type in Palantir emergency shareholder meeting. See if I have this link. Oh, I think I have it. Oh, I think I got it. Oh, that was easy. All I had to do is hold on. All right. Let me see if I can get this up for you guys. Let's see. I'm gonna use the admit@dailypalantir.com email. So they know I'm that person. Enter control number. What's the control number? I don't have a control number. Put in my phone number. Does that work? Oh no, I need a control number. What's the control number? Oh, I put it in my Discord. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Let's see. Discord. Okay. Where in the Discord? Did you private message me? Oh no. Oh yeah. So like Iceman, they're still asking me for a look. Let me show you guys. Oh, hold on. I have to press guest. Oh, I'm stupid, bro. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. Let's log in and let's join the meeting. I don't think they're gonna be saying anything, so I'll do it for like 5-6 minutes. Let's see if there's anything special. All right, I'm getting in. Present, share screen. Here we go. All right. You guys don't hear anything? I don't hear anything. Do you hear anything? I don't hear anything. Is it starting yet? They just stopped talking. Oh, wow. Okay, so I guess they'll start talking soon. Let's see. This is like, they were just talking. Amit joins the meeting. They're like, hey, Amit's here. We got to stop talking. He's going to tell everybody what we're talking about. They're voting. Yeah, see, they're voting on some restructuring thing for the, like, when I looked at it, it wasn't that serious from what I remember. Dang, by the NBA and MLB. Yeah, if YouTube gets the NBA, cable TV is going to get hit. It's going to get hit.
Over a minute has passed and the polls are now closed. No additional ballots, proxies, or votes, and no changes or revocations will be accepted. Based on the preliminary voting results as reported by the Inspector of Election, the stockholders have approved the amendment and restatement of our Certificate of Incorporation. The final voting results will be set forth in a report of the Inspector of Election and will be included with the minutes of this meeting. We will also report the final voting results on a Form 8-K, which we will file with the Securities and Exchange Commission within 4 business days of today's date. We have reviewed the questions submitted by stockholders in advance of the meeting and believe that, to the extent relevant to this meeting, they have generally been addressed by the company's proxy statement dated November 10th, 2022, and our other filings with the SEC. This concludes our planned agenda today. As there is no other formal business before us, this special meeting is adjourned.
Bro. That was a 5-minute shareholder meeting. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we know what happened. They approved the incorporation or whatever it is. So that's it. There it is. All right. I'm out. What was that? Yeah, that's what I thought, man. I thought it was nothing. If it was something important, you guys know I would have like held it down, but it wasn't. Wow, sick meeting, bro. Yeah, it was a great meeting. Voting on whether Carp should get a haircut. That is, I need to get a haircut, bro. Look at this thing, bro. Look at this. This thing is getting kind of wild now. All right, everybody. I'm out. Thank you so much for joining. We had 355 people today. That's amazing. We usually average about 220, 240, 300 people. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate it. Got one more day left in the week. Friday, market crashing. The markets, yeah, Tesla 132.99. The markets, it's been red all morning. It's going to continue to be red. Let's see what happens. I will see you guys tomorrow on the market open. I have some more videos coming out today, and I will see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.